Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Hello and welcome to the KVJ After the Show Podcast. Happy Thursday.
Thursday?
Damn, Thursday already?
Weekend right here. Right here.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Well, I bet. You started your weekend last night,
I
Virginia.
did. Last night it was Friday. I thought I just got paid.
Yeah.
And I did not.
Turn it up.
Oh, we get paid tomorrow.
We do. That's right. Or do we?
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Wait, do we?
Denny said it, so it must be true.
It's always a question. We don't know. Sometimes we get a check. Sometimes we don't.
Do we get paid on the 1st or do we get paid on the 30th?
It depends on when the first hits. If
The
it's
1st is a Monday.
we're fucked.
We're fucked.
Well, I got some emails already because we heard from Allie, the girl that Jaybird saw at Target, and we found some information from her that she is single apparently, but still lives with her ex, and they have a dog together.
She ain't single.
That
man.
is a mess.
She is not single.
I'm not getting my bird in that.
Hell no.
No.
Yeah. So a lot of issues going on there. Now, this is a thought from Denise. She said, how do we know that the email from Allie's friend was not actually Jason's stalker? Allie's friend described what Jason was wearing, but how do we know that the stalker wasn't following Jason inside Target?
How would the stalker know what they talked about in specifics?
There was the email that we had received. There was specifics that I had said to the girl that.
So they'd have to be right there, and you know what your stalker looks like. You would notice if your stalker was close enough to hear your conversation, your cute conversation about pizza.
That I don't know because I'm not very observant of things.
You would see her, though.
I'm sure you would hope I would. You would hope I would. Again, I'm not the best.
You would hope.
There's stop signs I'm just learning about.
Just blow right through them.
Like, oh, there's a stop sign there.
I've been through here many times. I've never stopped before, ever. So weird. Okay, let's see here. Got an email from Dave. Said, I'm looking for a way to relieve stress without doing any type of alcohol or drugs. I've got crippling panic attacks. Weed and alcohol is what helped me in the past, but recently I've had to quit all that for health reasons. I must say that weed and booze worked wonders for me, knocked out a lot of anxiety, and it physically relaxed me. But since I had to quit, I can't find anything else to get me to that Zen-like state. What are some things I can do to become relaxed and peaceful?
Yoga, meditation. Lots of people believe in that stuff. I believe in it. I just don't do it.
I really do believe in meditation. I think it takes a while to get to that Zen place, and it's a journey. It's like anything, like working out your mind or
You're not
your
going to
body.
get it the first month.
No, in fact, you probably won't get it your first 3 months. You got to stay with it, and you can lose it too. It's like working out your body.
Yeah.
But there's YouTube instructional stuff on how to do it and what can help you, what can hurt you.
So weird. The 2 times I really got into it, it helped me greatly, and then for some reason I got out of it, and fuck, man, it all came crashing down.
Yeah, exercise, people sometimes really get into that. They get into some kind of like hobby sport or something along those lines.
Always pushing the workout agenda.
I am. I'm going to get back in it, Virginia.
You're right, though. If you bust your dick doing cardio, it sucks. But if you're
Yep.
able to get through it and sit down after,
Yep.
it's almost like a drug feeling. It's like a euphoric kind of a relaxation.
It does. Helps knock out a little bit of the stress. So
I just mansplained a runner's high.
We've run before. We get it.
I
Bert.
know. I'm sorry.
Amanda from Jupiter said you guys did a segment a few weeks back where you had listeners call into your show and rant about how bad their boss was. I believe the person who had the best rant won tickets to a concert. I don't even want tickets. I just want to rant about my horrible boss. Please bring this segment back.
We did that when you were out of town for the VJD show. And we had some pretty good calls of people just ranting on their bosses.
Yeah, they like to.
They do.
Let's kind of get it off their...
Therapeutic.
Yeah, you got to tell somebody.
Okay. Amy from Wellington said, I just started staying the night with the guy that I'm dating. I thought I was into him until I noticed that he sucks his thumb when he sleeps.
What?
It really weirds me out. I can actually hear him slurp on his finger throughout the night. He is great in every other way, but this is really weirding me out. I want to ask Virginia if she thought it was a deal breaker.
No, it's not a deal breaker, but you do need to talk to him and say, hey, do you realize you suck your thumb when you're sleeping?
I do. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel safe. Why?
Panda does some weird things when he's in bed.
Like what? What does he suck on?
Well, that's not weird. He has to do this thing where he puts some sort of fabric in between his thumb and his pointer finger, and he has to rub it back and forth.
Huh.
And that calms him and puts him to sleep.
Okay.
It's a quirk, but I mean, it's not horrible.
I bang my feet. There are times where I have to bang my feet to relax myself to go and get into a peaceful state.
I rub my feet, so I get it. I rub them on each other back and forth.
I gotta bang them almost like a impact, and then it makes me tired.
Weird.
I think we all have a little quirk, so
Probably.
don't let it be a deal breaker if he's a great guy in every other way.
It'd be a problem that slurping is keeping me awake, though. That would be to a point where it's like, yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
trying to sleep and I'm like, two things got to happen. Either you stop sucking on that damn thumb or I got to go sleep somewhere else.
And don't tell him that you think it's weird, even though we do think it's kind of weird that he sucks his thumb. Don't tell him that. Just make it about the noise while you're trying to sleep. Don't make it where you're making fun of him for his quirk, because that's going to make him very insecure and defensive.
Could you argue maybe that's what he needs to break that habit?
You're not there to break his habits. I don't think you can break it if he's been doing it since he was a kid. And why would you want to?
No,
the slurping should stop.
I'm just saying, sometimes, for a grown man to suck on his finger to the point where it's slurping, he's not mentioning it to you, it's keeping you up. It's kind of a bad habit. Is it really that bad of advice to say, why don't you bring that up to him and say, why do you suck your finger? Have you seen somebody for that? Or
just be careful, because that sounds a little aggressive.
Okay, maybe not. Have you seen somebody? But just why the fuck are you sucking on that finger?
I see what you're saying, but you got to be really careful, because he's probably insecure about it. He probably doesn't want a spotlight shown on it. And now you're going to make him feel a lot of insecurities and less than a man and all that stuff. So you got to really be careful. You men have very fragile egos.
Yeah, but he's he's kind of, he's throwing the first missile. He's the one slurping, keeping you up. It is a problem now. She's emailing into the show.
Maybe turn a couple fans on. It might
Good
be
call.
enough noise that
We
distracts
love you
it.
on the show, Kevin.
There you go. That's great. It boosts up your ego, too.
Does it change if you guys are out at dinner and all of a sudden, they bring the appetizer and then he starts sucking his finger or thumb at
Like
dinner?
a baby or seductively?
Depending on...
Show us seductive thumb sucking. Go.
Yep.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Pretend like it's Denny's
What am I
and
doing?
go.
I just fucking dance.
You're like a trained monkey.
I am. You just say suck and I suck.
Yeah, he does. Good Lord.
I was happy to do it like a dumb fuck.
Yeah. Just jumped right on
I thought
it.
it was hot.
Virginia's like your master. She speaks, you listen. Says here, Tyler Daniels sent an email, said, I recently quit one high-paying job to go to another high-paying job.
Okay, that's nice.
It was the biggest mistake of my life.
Oh, no.
I got fired from my new job within a month.
What?
Went to go work for Cox in Miami.
Yeah, we know this. Kevin, are you running into the show?
Now I'm running out of money and I got no job. It literally was the worst decision I've ever made. I was wondering, what do you think was the worst decision or biggest mistake you've ever made in your entire life? Would you change it? Did it teach you anything, or was it nothing but heartache? Love to hear what everybody on the show has to say.
Worst decision?
Yeah, to me, I don't look at a lot of things, with decisions or regret or whatever. I think that it has all brought you to a place for a certain reason. Some things are unpleasant, you got to go through, but it does build the character to make you what you are for what you're intended to do.
And it teaches you stuff, and sometimes they're hard lessons that hurt. But you'll never make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never go to business school ever again. It didn't work out for me, and I'm still paying on those fucking loans.
I I've known you for a long time.
Oh, and I'm old.
You should have them paid off.
No shit. Amen, sister. I agree with you.
Yeah, that was one of the things we were talking earlier about top wastes of money, and college education was second.
Well, I went to a 4-year. So after I was done playing baseball, I ended up going to a 4-year school to finish playing out my baseball. I knew I wasn't going to play professionally. I knew I was just going to be going to college. So I went to a small school. It was a private school, but it was expensive. And it was like $18,000 to go to per year.
Is that Northwood?
It was Northwood.
Yeah, I know a guy that went to Northwood, and that's expensive, but he's in business.
They gave me a scholarship of $999.
That's insulting.
Yeah, I bought two fucking books with it. I shit you not. 2 books. And
Books were crazy expensive when I was in school.
I bought a book at
Still
Northwood
are.
for $380, and they said, "Oh, just come back next semester. You'll be able to get your money back." They changed the edition, so I had to eat the price. And they did that. They would do that every other semester, and that's why people bitch and moan about college.
Yeah, somebody texted in earlier and said, talk about a waste of money. Here's what's insane about college tuition is you get charged a credit hour surcharge of up to 110% when you have too many college credits and don't graduate. My daughter switched majors mainly due to the lack of teachers in her subject area and now pays $1,000 extra each semester because she has been in college too long.
And you know what the real fucked up thing was? I mean, I went to FAU to graduate, and all of my credits from Northwood, they go, yeah, this is from a private school.
They don't count.
None of those, not one credit transferred to FAU. I had to go back in. After when I was about to graduate, I had to go back in as a beginning junior.
Ooh.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, that's why, honestly, I think the best advice is a couple things. One, a lot of people take that gap year. It's kind of like get an idea of who you are, what you want to do. That buys a little bit of time because I think so many people after high school just don't really have any clue. And if you do start, a lot of times it's good to start with like a state college, paying a lot less money and getting some of those things out of the way before you go jumping around. So, yeah, there's, honestly, unless you are going into a field where you have to have a college degree, I wouldn't do it.
They would have classes where you had to buy a $400 calculator, and if you didn't buy the calculator, you don't pass the class. You're like, fuck you, man. Fuck you and your calculator.
It is, though, I will say this in defense of the university experience. It is a great transitional space to go from living with your parents to being out on your own. And that's what I took out of LSU. I loved the transitional space that was safe, not completely safe, but safer than, just being out in the wild. Mm-hmm. And getting acclimated to being a grown-up. I thought it was a very beautiful transition. I loved college life. I loved being active in clubs and groups and all that. It was just exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I went to a very shitty public school in New Orleans. I never got exposed to smart people with great ideas and wealthy parents and like creative minds. I didn't see any of that in my low budge high school. Mm-hmm. But when I got to LSU, I'm like, wow, people are fucking smart.
Did you know that Virginia went to LSU with Shaquille O'Neal? I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Yeah, a few times.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
You can always tell when he was in the bar. You walk right in, look, there he is. Tall drink of water.
Shaquille O'Neal is tall?
So, biggest mistake, if you had to say, do you have a biggest mistake that you have ever made in your life?
I mean, even with the business school, I met a lot of awesome people there. And yeah, I'm still paying on a loan. Mm-hmm. But like you guys were saying before, I wouldn't change it. If I didn't change anything, it'd probably be maybe someone I've dated before.
Yeah.
Where I look back and I don't know if I'm any better or any worse. It just was, it just sucked and it just was fucked.
I would change a few people that I dated, I think, because they made me a different human, and I don't like the person that I became because of the bad experience that I was in. Mm-hmm. But, I did learn from that.
Yeah, I did too. Like I'm thinking back, I wouldn't want to change it.
I can't help it. I can't fix it, but I got smarter because of it.
I'm a big believer when shit goes wrong and it all comes down. That's when you're getting your stripes. That's when you are becoming somewhat not bulletproof, but you get that kind of element where you're able to deal with shit. I think you have to have shit happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounds the room.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I thought you had more to say. I didn't want to cut you off. I was waiting for more, and then it just stopped.
Cut
Kevin,
me off.
cut him off.
Cut me off, man.
Cut him off.
Cut me off. It's tired ass.
More. I got an email from Caitlin. She said, question for debate for you all. What do you consider sex? Do you consider fingering and blowjob sex, or is it only when two people actually have sex? This was brought up, and I was curious on your all's opinion. Jay-Bird, go fuck yourself.
This is a trap, by the way. This is a trick question.
Why?
Because people are going to get pissed off.
I think fingering is not, but I think blowjob is.
See, I don't think blowjobs, I think it's leading up to sex and it's a form of oral sex. I don't think it's actual sex. Because if you're getting, if a girl's blowing you or blowing Kevin, how is she getting any action? Like, she's blowing. She's not. If I'm eating a girl out, I'm not. My dick is not in her.
Draw me a picture.
I would like to see him try to eat a chick out while his dick is in her. Do you think you could somehow?
We better get you in that fucking goat yoga.
Yeah.
That is some flexible shit.
Because I would like to see that. That would be amazing.
See, Kev, you should have cut me off. I told you
Suits,
that.
get in here. We need you to play the role of a chick.
Yeah, I would say my thought on it is there's a different. It's in the circle of sex. There is sexual intercourse and there's sex acts, and they would call that a sex act.
Yeah.
So that, to me, it would be considered sex. I think that if you're trying to get somebody to come, guy or girl, that is a sex act. That'd be a blowjob, eating somebody out. It's a sex act. Yeah, sex act.
But it's not sex.
That's the end goal. It is in the circle of sex, but there are different categories. There are sex acts and then there's sexual intercourse.
It's almost kind of like hard candy. Yeah, it's food. It's in the realm of food, but it's hard candy. It's on the outer rim.
Well, I would say it's maybe Italian, but
Okay.
you could have lasagna or pizza.
Okay, well, Kevin. Yeah.
I figured I had to put it in food terms.
I mean, he is wearing a pizza jacket.
But-
you are
yeah.
literally speaking his language.
Yeah, I get it now.
When you get to the genitalia, it is a sex something. So it's either a sex act or it's sexual intercourse, still in the circle of sex.
Where's your stance on a little DH? Dry humping.
Oh, dry humping?
That's
Yes.
not sex.
Well, but think about it. Girls can come from dry sex, and so can boys. I
know.
came once from it.
Really?
Yeah.
What was her name?
I already said too much.
What was his name?
But that can happen. So would you consider that dry humping? There is coming.
I agree. But that, I don't know. I don't think that counts as sex because,
It's not. It's sex act though.
yeah, I guess.
Say sex act 5 times in a row. You can't do it.
Sex act, sex act. You can.
Sex act, sex act, sex act, sex act. Yeah, you can't do it.
Okay, got an email here about first dance song ideas. Hey, KVG.
Jerby.
Getting married in almost 3 weeks. Yes, I'm excited. No, not nervous. I was hoping you guys had some suggestions for first dance song at our wedding. It's a completely traditional wedding, but it is at a nice venue. So you don't want it to be some fuddy-duddy song, but we want something fun, romantic, and memorable. We enjoy all types of music, going from the 1950s all the way up to today. Was hoping to hear each of your top 3 suggestions for a fun, loving song to introduce our marriage with my gorgeous bride and my subpar-looking self.
What's the one that butterfly bullshit? That the butterfly kisses one. Isn't that a wedding song?
No.
I think that's a father-daughter song.
Father-daughter.
Father-daughter wedding. Hey, Dad, I'm getting
If
married.
there's a father-daughter wedding, you're in the South.
If you're fucking your dad, this is weird.
You know what I meant? Father-daughter
Legally,
moment.
you're not doing that
No
in the
thanks.
United States.
Father-daughter moment at the wedding.
Yeah, if you're marrying your daughter, then yes, butterfly kisses would be great.
I thought that was about wedding shit. Like you're giving away your kid. Like, oh, you're getting married. Butterfly kisses.
It's not for a bride and groom to dance to. They're talking about their first dance, bride and groom. I think it's got to be a song that you guys both love.
Yeah.
It's got to be personal. It's got to be about you. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be slow. It just has to be personal.
I guess it.
You got to look within on that one.
What was your first? What was the queen in yours?
We didn't do we didn't do a reception like that, like with dancing and
So no
DJs.
song?
No.
Damn.
We had a song together when we first got together, but yeah, we
What
didn't.
was it?
Was that there? Falling even here. I freaking hate that song now. It's the worst thing ever. It was big when we met.
I
Yeah.
hate that song.
Yeah.
You need to punch yourself in the jaw
Wasn't my call.
with a closed fist.
Who sings
I've
that?
never. I don't even remember.
It's falling over her. Oh, it's so
It
funny.
sounds daughtry-ish.
It is.
Yeah, I was in that era.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've never once, for the record, never once have I gone to a girl and be like going, "That's our song." I've always had a girl come to me and be like going, "That's our song." I'm like, "All right, whatever."
Oh, I'm totally. It's our song.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, that's our song. Now, am I going to get laid?
That's not my
Soy
thing.
boy over here. Do you want to have a song together?
Soy Boy has a song for
Soy Boy,
everybody.
yeah.
I like music.
You got to go within on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
So, but you can, if you're looking for something, you can just go like Google top wedding songs, and there's all the lame traditional shit that's out there.
Do not do that.
Well, I tell you, my friends are doing "Welcome to the Jungle."
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of fun, and they both love that song.
Yep.
Pick an artist. Start there. Pick an artist that both of you have tremendous passion for, and then look within that catalog.
Yep.
That song, "Here's all ever lovers." That's
Falling even more
it's,
in love with
Greg,
you.
tell us the chat. Lifehouse.
Lifehouse.
Is it Lifehouse?
Yeah, remember how they were popular?
What's the difference between Lifehouse and The Calling?
Lifehouse died.
Or Three Doors Down. They all kind of the same to me.
And Nickelback.
And the other one, the one where the one guy.
What was it?
You love those guys. And I don't mean this in a mean way, because I think everybody on the planet looks like some type of animal. He's the guy that he looks like a lizard. What's the band?
Train?
Not Train. He looks like a lizard too.
Pat Monahan looks like a lizard?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Everybody on the planet looks like a type of animal.
You're right.
I got an email from Steve in D.C. Said, Sir Kevin of Logan, I'm a huge Penn State fan, and I am very excited for the impending matchup on Saturday night. Gotta love a whiteout in Happy Valley. Sports stuff. You had mentioned that there are certain teams that you will never wear the shirts, hats, etc., like Florida. Question, is Penn State one of those teams? Notre Dame? Was Michigan one of those teams before your son decided to go there? For me, I'm okay with Penn State, and I'd probably wear a Florida shirt, if I have one.
I think you have before.
Yeah, I did. Well, I was my daughter played for Palm Beach Gardens Gators. I was a softball coach there, so I had that was the one time I had Gator stuff. And then when I was done, I gave it all away. I'm like, I don't need to keep it.
Yeah, there's plenty of teams you can wear. You don't need to wear the Gators after all they've done to you.
Yeah,
You won't wear Alabama, right?
yeah, I don't, and it's only just because, admittedly, those teams frustrate me because they're good. I'm not a huge Notre Dame fan, so I wouldn't seek it out. I'd probably wear it. Notre Dame, Alabama. Yeah, Penn State's become a big rival because they're dashing the Buckeyes' dreams. So.
Would you ever wear an Atlanta Brave hat or jersey?
Yeah, I mean, there's really, and even still, I'd probably, I remember I went to one of the national championship games for Alabama, the first one they won under Saban, and I was, rooting for Alabama because I was with an Alabama fan.
Team Ho over
Yeah,
here.
I'm cool with that. I mean, they're all
Kevin,
the same.
we never root for Nick Saban.
Oh, that's right.
We don't root for
He
him.
brought your LSU Tigers a national championship. You
I
still kiss his
know,
ass.
But then he left us.
How many
like
did you win
a-
before, and how many you won since?
None.
You won one.
Does,
Beat my Buckeyes one year, remember?
Oh, that's right. I was watching that game live in New Orleans.
does Urban Meyer always look pissed? Because he just has pissed off face. He always looks like he's mad.
No, I don't think so.
Really? He looks like he is just ready to fucking chew your ass
A
up.
lot of times what you see is intense. I mean, so all the shots they pretty much show are him, on the field. And
Like, I feel like he would yell at a steak at the dinner table. He just looks intense.
I would pay to watch that.
he is intense. He's not much of a yeller. I don't think he yells too
Really?
much. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he yells too much.
Huh, he looks like he would get in your ass.
No, Nick Saban's yeller.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to see a guy who looks pissed. Find a time where you see Nick Saban smiling.
Do you think we're going to get to a point where coaches are not allowed to yell at the players, like in high school where, back when we played, I get yelled at a lot.
It'll be interesting and it's arbitrary because, if you'd raise your voice, how do you get to judging that? But that is something right now where it's already becoming a big thing this year where it's taboo. It's becoming taboo.
It is.
To be an asshole
that's
coach.
why I
Yes.
asked it.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
especially this year, it turned a corner because there was a program where there was a coach that's still suspended for having what they called a toxic culture that, was using a lot of profanity and screaming at players and abusive tactics and things like that. So it's changed.
I mean, my freshman year in college, if you would have had a camera on this coach, I think it would have been a fucking national story, man. He was so...
Yeah.
Motherfucker hit me.
A lot of people have stories from coaching, and coaching has radically changed, and it continues to change, and they're putting a lot of guidelines on because this team, University of Maryland, they killed a player earlier this year.
Was that the no running?
He died of a heat stroke.
Yeah,
and
the running.
they didn't have the proper. Now they have guidelines on you have to take temperatures, you have to have enough cooling stations, you have to have water breaks. But yeah, you listen way back in the day, and honestly, you used to have to run through a whole practice, and they would have one bucket with dirty water in there, the sponge, and you would sop off the sponge and put it back in the bucket, and then if you were like a freshman, all the seniors and juniors and sophomores went, and then you'd be the last, and it'd be a muddy bucket of water, and that's the only hydration you got for a football practice.
That's terrible.
My freshman year in high school, a bunch of upperclassmen took the water and like pissed in it and put all kind of shit in there, like all kind of stuff, and I drank it. Can you imagine if that story broke today? If I was a freshman in high school and I went on Twitter, they put piss and fucking...
They all pissed in
Yeah, and
it.
I drank it, and I felt so... Different time, man.
Very sensitive to that. I think a lot of coaches now,
Good.
they realize that, like, look, hey, these kids are out here. They want to do well, and there's ways to motivate people. You just got to be smart enough to be able to motivate somebody. It's almost like... I think they look down on coaches. A weak coach relies on screaming and yelling. A good coach relies on positive motivation and finds out how to inspire people. And at the same time, they create a culture where if you have a lazy player that's not going to do it, you realize you're bad for the program and you're gone. They just get rid of them. Instead of sitting there screaming at somebody and realizing they'll never change, you just say, dude,
Bye.
yeah, bye. And that's it.
I did
It's
notice
a privilege to be on the team. It's not a right.
Playing for a bunch of different coaches, a lot of the ones that would yell and scream and get in your face, it was a lot about their ego. Their feelings were crossed, or they how dare you, blah blah
It's
blah.
a shortcoming of the coach if you have to yell, and that's kind of the attitude to that.
I was scared of my college coach my freshman
Yeah.
year. How do you play when you're actually fucking frightened?
Well, that's just it. And so your job is to try to get someone to perform to a certain level. And if someone is clanked or afraid they're going to get yelled at, they're not going to perform well under pressure.
That's true.
You have to motivate them to say, look, I'm going to give you the tools to make yourself successful and teach yourself how to mentally be ready in a time of stress so you can perform. And that's when a coach looks great. The really good coaches that do the best now are really good at psychology and at motivation.
I completely agree with that. You don't have to yell. I think you can be stern at times. I think you need that level.
Yeah.
But to scream and yell and do all that, I'm with you. I think it's going to be outdated.
It's almost all those coaches are already weeded out, and it's going to get worse or better, I guess you should say. Texan V, I have seen every episode of Big Brother and Survivor since the show began. Question, what season did you start watching Big Brother? Do you have a favorite all-time player, and if so, why?
Oh, we should do a Big Brother podcast one of these days, by the way. Or not.
I don't know it as well as you. I really only got into it rather recently.
So I started watching it, I believe, on the first All-Stars, and I got hooked. It was the whatever one that had Kesar, and it had Janelle, and it had a bunch of the All-Stars. Oh, no, it was the season before that with Janelle and Kesar, and then they did the All-Stars. And then I went back and watched old seasons like your Dr. Will and all that. So I'd say
I
about
don't like
season,
Dr. Will. I didn't watch.
Season 6, I used to have a big crush on Janelle.
Is there a Vanessa?
There's been a couple Vanessas.
I think there was a local girl named Vanessa that was a poker player.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, yeah.
She was.
I remember her.
Dr. Will, the all-time favorite.
Yeah, he said if you
Really?
haven't seen Dr. Will Kirby or Evil Dick Donato, go watch some clips of them. They were amazing OGs of Big Brother.
Dr. Will is the best, my all-time favorite. So entertaining, so awesome. Yeah, he actually is the reason why Big Brother got to the whole cutthroat, being a dick kind of a thing. He changed the game from season 2 on,
Really?
in my opinion.
Who was on it on season 1?
Oh, it's gonna be such a boring answer. And I don't know.
I'm just trying to think where I should jump in.
Season 2 would be a good one for you.
Okay.
Jesse said, just a little pointer for Jaybird on finding hippie chicks where they hang out. I met my husband. I'm kind of a hippie chick playing adult kickball. I know you don't have a ton of free time, but you could also find that kind of girl tailgating at a concert, a record store, the farmer's market. A couple places to go look. That's your style.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's all you got?
That's all I got. I'm not really looking right now.
Shut up.
I'm not.
You're so full of shit.
I'm really not looking.
Well,
I'm really not.
We're all looking for happiness.
Is it though? Is it happiness? Happiness.
Happiness.
Can't even say it. I'm talking like Cher.
I think you keep the dream alive. You pretend like you don't want love, but I think in your heart the dream is very much still alive. And if the right hippie chick would fucking present herself already, we could make this thing a go.
I got Wallace, Virginia.
Allie, get the fuck out of that apartment. What are you doing living with your ex?
It's over with the Allie thing. I'm not even
Done, huh?
entertaining that.
We all have a past.
She's living with her ex-boyfriend. In my opinion, they're still totally hitting it.
Well, when she does move out,
Oh, good.
then she won't be hitting it anymore.
Okay, like, yeah, right after their last round of sex. Hey, come on over.
Yeah.
Sloppy seconds bird.
You want her to shower first, or you?
Nah, Kev.
Wet wipe.
I'd love the...
Do the little horror's bath. You'll be good.
That's
Yep.
so cool. A wet wipe. Oh, my God.
Swipe from front to back, and it's all good.
Carly said, I'm a day behind, but referring to the suggestion Jaybird made regarding wanting more options from California Pizza Kitchen frozen pizzas. I used to work for CPK, and I learned that the restaurant and the frozen pizzas are completely separate entities.
Aha.
Nice.
It sounds crazy, but the restaurant has nothing to do with the CPK frozen pizzas, and that is why they taste different, too.
They do. They're not as good.
Yeah.
They are not. Because I love me some CPK. I think it's a very underrated restaurant.
Just the
The one
brand.
at the Gardens has curbside pickup.
Yeah, I know it does.
You can order, and they will bring it out to your car.
Virginia, you are acting like I don't know about the curbside pickup at that fucking place. Oh my gosh, I many a miles have I gone.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, sir.
Okay. Tom from Coral Springs said, hey, about Jaybird's Bury the Bird burial experience. Up in Orlando at Old Town, they've got a haunted house. And in the front of the house is a casket. You can lay in it, and it simulates being buried. It moves to feel like you're being dropped into the ground, and you hear dirt being shoveled on you. They also pipe in scents of dirt and flowers. Totally freaky. And there's a camera on you and a monitor outside so people can watch your reactions in the total darkness.
Creepy.
How do they see you if you're in total darkness?
Probably night vision.
There's night vision. That stuff's cool, man.
Okay, some crazy stuff. And our boy Rolly said, hey guys, me Rolly again. Been a while since I emailed you, but I'm doing so now because according to Radio Insight, Alpha Media is selling its stations, including WRMF, to Hubbard Broadcasting.
What?
Oh my gosh. What
We heard.
is going on here?
We heard that.
We found out. You walk into work and all of a sudden, boom.
You got a new boss,
have
and
a-
you don't know who they are yet.
Yeah, it says, I'm just wondering to gather your thoughts about this now. The WRMF will have its third owner in just 2 years, Palm Beach Broadcasting and Alpha, and now Hubbard.
Is it us?
Yeah, who wrote this email, by the way? Very detailed.
Rolly. Thanks, guys. And Clint Jerby Eastwood, go fuck yourself.
Oh, Rolly. We know
Yeah.
Rolly.
Yep,
He's
Rolly.
very knowledgeable what goes on in the radio game.
Yeah, he's big time into it. He's been in here with us before. Yeah, it's kind of the big story in the radio trades today. In fact, here's one of the articles. Says Alpha Media to sell West Palm Beach cluster to Hubbard.
What?
Alpha Media has reached an agreement in principle to sell 6 radio stations in West Palm Beach to Hubbard Radio, led by Chair CEO Jenny Morris. So we got a new ass to kiss.
It's a chick?
Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
CEO. Absolutely.
Yeah, it can't be a man, Kev, because men are evil and
No,
awful.
I didn't say that. I just said I like a chick.
Virginia's already in.
You like chicks? What's your problem?
I do like chicks. I like men too.
Says Alpha
That's
Media.
my boss.
Alpha employs roughly 105 people in West Palm Beach, including the extremely popular Kevin Virginia and Jason show on WRMF.
Got my name right.
The company has had a presence there since February 2016 when it purchased the stations from Digity LLC. The exit from West Palm Beach leaves Alpha with 213 stations in 46 markets around the country. The company has been selling off assets to lower its debt leverage, it says there in the article. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're along for the ride. You never know what this kind of stuff means. And I know some of the stations that Hubbard owns. I don't know a lot about their practices, but, when we get down to it, we'll see what happens.
Someone's already asking, is there any way we can get fired?
There's always a way you can get fired, and that's just radio. And it's scary, but the good news is we got KVJ Nation, and if we get fired again, they get us a job. They were really good last time.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, anything is possible, but, it's part of being in this industry. But, just speaking matter of fact, anybody might be nervous about losing your show. Yeah, I mean, we do obviously very well, as you can tell by the trade thing that's there. And thanks for our great audience that's by us. And whenever you have an audience, then you've got advertisers and you've got money, and so it's a value to have you employed. So I would hope and assume that we stay here on WRMF, but if something weird happened and they went kaboom and, pulled a little switcheroo, then I'm confident that we would find somebody who would be like, hey, they're the number one.
We'll take you.
Yeah, they're the number one show.
You've only been fired a few times in the past 5 years.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It shows you got character. You got some balls, baby.
It just shows you're sleeping around.
Yeah, so I think ultimately we'll be fine, and I would not expect any changes.
Funniest story, I think, is that our boss, Leo, is up in Portland at the Alpha headquarters, and he found out about Alpha selling us as he's up there at their corporate party.
Yeah, I got a call from Leo last night. That's how I first found out.
There's never time to blow off a meeting.
Why is he still there?
Yeah, he's there till tomorrow night.
Why?
And so he's like, hey, I just want to give you a heads up. This is going to hit all the trade magazines tomorrow. Alpha is going to be selling us to Hubbard. And he's like, and I am here at this corporate shindig.
Awkward.
In Portland. And yeah, they just announced it. And here I am. It's like, okay, so they're having all these strategic meetings about programming. And now really, I don't even work for you guys, at least not much longer.
He's got to be on a plane headed back.
Well, yeah, and I wonder if they're going, hey, come on in, because we're revealing all of our secrets
they
and all
will
this kind of
not tell
stuff.
him anything.
Yeah, because, I mean, not that we're going to compete because Alpha will no longer be in this market, and I don't know that, I don't think Alpha and Hubbard are in any other markets together.
Okay.
So, I don't know that it would be direct competition, but it's still weird.
It's
Yeah.
trade secrets, and yeah. I just think it's funny that he's up there and he found out.
Yeah.
Do you tiptoe backwards out of the room and go, bye?
No, you go in there and you just give the craziest ideas. I think what we should do is change all these fucking stations and call them the Raccoon. Just make crazy names.
Raccoon, 97.9 the
Yeah,
Coon.
going with the most ridiculous ideas ever.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you fuckers later.
He's got to be on a plane headed back. He's not going to stay up there till Friday.
Or maybe
As of yesterday, and he knew it, he's like, I am here till tomorrow night. So
See the sights.
I would totally blow off anything that had to do with the work and just because Portland is a fun town. We got to explore it when we went up there one time. It's beautiful. It is a walking town. I walked about 6 miles when I was there, just drinking it in.
yeah, it's a beautiful little city. So I assume that will be our last trip there for a very long time, though. So
Yeah, we enjoyed it, but we're never going back.
yep.
I'm going back in a month. I'm going back to Oregon.
Oh, that's right. Your sister lives there.
I got to book that ticket, man.
Tell me when you want to go. I'll book it.
Okay, in November.
But you got to be more
All right,
specific.
we'll do it off. We'll do it off the air.
You don't want to do it right now?
Nah, I'm good.
We'll call and book it and let everybody listen. It's fun.
Let's
Yeah,
let
we
your stalker know so she can go with you to Oregon.
got to get going. I do have some leftover emails. I know people are going, oh my gosh, you're not reading my email, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so you just we're running a little bit late. Got to stay on track for time. So yeah, I got to little stack here that I didn't get to today that we just got to stay on course.
Okay,
Everything
sorry.
else we got going on. So, yeah, went a little bit long and other things, but we will get to those emails tomorrow. So I know some of them expire and have topics to get to. So we'll get to that tomorrow on the show. Thanks for locking it in today. We'll talk to you for Friday. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.